You open Notion to get organized, and 45 minutes later, you're picking an emoji for a page you're never going to look at again. Sound familiar? You watched a Notion tutorial, got inspired, built this gorgeous dashboard with rotating quotes and a color-coded habit tracker, and then you closed it and went right back to running your business out of a notebook and your own memory. Here's the plain answer this whole thing is built around. For a small business, the only part of Notion that actually earns its keep is one thing: a database. Not the fancy dashboards, not the aesthetic, not the widgets. A database. It's a smart list that tracks your clients, your projects, or your jobs in one place, and you can view that same list a dozen different ways without copying anything. So the loop I'm opening is simple. By the end, you'll know exactly what to build first, what to ignore completely, and why most Notion tutorials quietly waste your entire weekend. Stick around, because the part nobody tells you is near the end, and it's the reason people quit this app. Quick thing before we get into it. This channel is sponsored by NBC Canada Inc., and if you run a trades or construction business, they fix the bookkeeping mess that's choking your numbers so you can finally see your cash instead of flying blind. They put together a free trades bookkeeping scorecard that shows you how much money your business is quietly losing, and the link is the first thing in the description. Go grab it, then come right back, because we've got a database to build. Let's name the trap first, because you've fallen in it and so has everyone. Most Notion tutorials sell you a look. They open with a jaw-dropping dashboard, 30 linked pages, gradients everywhere, and your brain goes, yes, I want to be that organized person. So you spend hours copying the design, you nest pages inside pages inside pages, you pick fonts, you make it beautiful, and then you go to actually use it and you can't find anything because you built a museum, not a tool. That's the whole problem with this Notion tutorial genre. It teaches decoration. It does not teach the one structure that makes the app worth opening on a Tuesday when you're busy and stressed and you just need to know which client hasn't paid you. Design is the rabbit hole. The database is the exit. So we're skipping the museum entirely. Here's the one concept in plain English. And once it clicks, the whole app clicks. A Notion database is a list where every single row is its own little page you can open up. Think of a client list. In a normal spreadsheet, a row is just flat text. In Notion, you click that row and it opens into a full page where you can dump notes, files, a checklist, an email thread, whatever. So the row is the summary and the page inside is the detail. That's it. That's the magic trick the whole app is built on. And every column is a property, which is just a labeled field. A status, a due date, a category, a dollar amount, a person. You define the columns once, and now every job or client you add gets tracked the exact same way. No more one client living in your email, one in a text, one on a napkin. That's the payoff. One structure and your whole business stops living in 7 different apps. Now the question is what to actually build, and this is where people overthink themselves into quitting. Start with one table, just one. I mean it. Whatever your business runs on, that's your first database. If you're a contractor, it's jobs. If you're a freelancer, it's clients. If you sell products, it's orders. Pick the thing money flows through and build a table for that. Nothing else. Now give it maybe 4 or 5 columns and stop. A name, a status, a date, and an owner or an amount. That's a working system on day one. The temptation is to add 20 columns for every detail you might someday want. Don't. You will never fill them in, and empty columns make the whole thing feel broken. Let me walk a real one. Say you're a plumber and you build a jobs table. Column 1 is the job name, like kitchen repipe, the Hendersons. Column 2 is status, and you make it a drop down with 3 options: not scheduled, in progress, and done. Column 3 is the date. Column 4 is the amount you're owed. Add 5 real jobs and you're finished with setup. It took you 10 minutes and it already beats the notebook because now you can sort every job by who owes you money. That right there is worth more than every dashboard tutorial combined. But here's where it gets good, because that same table is about to do 5 jobs at once. This is the feature that actually matters, and it's the one beginners never reach because they quit during the design phase. A view is just a different way of looking at the same list. You don't copy the data, you don't rebuild anything. You flip a switch and the same rows show up as a calendar or a Kanban board or a filtered shortlist. Take that plumber's jobs table, switch it to board view, and suddenly every job is a card sitting under its status column: not scheduled, in progress, done. You drag a card from in progress to done and the table updates instantly. Now you've got a visual pipeline of your whole week. Switch that same table to calendar view and every job lands on the day it's scheduled. Now you can see you double booked yourself next Thursday, same data, different lens, then make a filtered view called money owed. You set one filter, status is not equal to done, and now you're staring at a clean list of everyone who still owes you. That view took 15 seconds and it might be the most valuable screen in your business. One table, 4 ways to see it, 0 duplication. That's the thing worth learning, and it's the thing the flashy tutorials bury under an hour of decorating. But there's a smarter move on top of this, and it's where Notion actually starts to feel like software you'd pay for. Here's the level up, and it's simpler than it sounds. Once you've got more than one table, you can connect them. This is called a relation, and all it means is you tell Notion that this job belongs to this client. Now they're linked. Open the client and you see every job they've ever hired you for. Open the job and you see who it's for. That's how a pile of separate lists becomes an actual system that knows things. You stop asking, wait, how much work have we done for this customer? Because the answer is sitting right there, connected automatically. You can even get a running total, a roll-up, which just adds up numbers from the linked rows. So a client page can show you the total dollars they've spent with you, calculated on its own, no math from you. Now, honest warning. This is exactly where people fall back into the trap. You get one relation working and suddenly you want to link everything to everything and build a beautiful web. Resist it. 2 or 3 connected tables is plenty for a small business. More than that and you're back to building a museum. So use relations, but use them like salt, not like a swimming pool. Now let's talk templates, because the word means 2 different things and one of them will save you and the other will sink you. The first kind is a whole pre-built Notion setup you copy from the internet, some influencers' 40-page business command center. Skip those. They're built for how someone else thinks. They're stuffed with features you'll never touch, and untangling them takes longer than building your own from scratch. The second kind is the one that actually helps, a database template button. Inside your own table, you can save a template for a new row. So every time you add a new job, it can autofill with your standard checklist, site visit, quote sent, deposit collected, work done, invoice sent. Now every job starts identical and nothing slips through the cracks. That's the template worth setting up. It's built by you for your actual workflow in about 2 minutes. Build your own small template. Don't import someone else's cathedral. So we've got the structure. But before you go all in, you need to hear where this app genuinely breaks, because it does. Notion is not magic, and pretending otherwise is how tutorials lie to you. First, it can get sluggish when a database gets truly massive. Thousands and thousands of rows with heavy formulas layered on. For a small business, you're nowhere near that. But if you're imagining running an enterprise on this, know that it has a ceiling. Second, it is not your accounting software. You can track what clients owe you, sure, but Notion doesn't do your taxes, doesn't reconcile your bank, and doesn't replace a real bookkeeper. Treat it as the front desk of your business, not the finance department. Third, and this is the real one, it only works if you keep it fed. A database is only as honest as the last time you updated it. If you stop moving cards and marking things done, it rots into another abandoned tool and you're back to the notebook. There's a paid tier and a free tier, and the limits change, so check the current ones yourself. But honestly, most solo operators and tiny teams can run their whole operation on the free side for a long time. So that's the full honest picture. Powerful core, real limits, and a decoration trap that eats your time. The question you're actually asking is whether it's worth it for you, and that's where I'll hand it over. Honestly, so many founders can get trapped in the pretty. They'll spend hours and hours on something that isn't useful actually to their business. They'll build it and then no one will use it, and then they'll build something else and no one will use it. All these SaaS products, these dashboards, these beautiful things, they just sit around and tickle an itch. The goal with these platforms is to make money. If you are using AI and Notion not to make money, what is wrong with you? We are in the era of AI and you can make a lot of money with AI. I would say this. Only build something if you're actually going to take it to market, not just useless things that your business doesn't actually need. For example, I built a sales dashboard and it mirrors our CRM. It's actually valuable. We're actually using it and it links right to our power dialer. It's actually awesome and we use it for business, for sales. Only build things that are going to make you money. Don't get distracted. So here's the rule I'll leave you with, the one that pays off everything we opened with. Build one table for the thing money flows through. Give it 4 or 5 columns and stop. Make 3 views, a board, a calendar, and a money owed filter. And do not touch a single design decision until that table has real data in it and you've used it for a week. That's the whole beginner path, and it beats every gorgeous dashboard you'll ever be shown because it's a tool you'll actually open. The pretty stuff can come later or never. Your business won't care which. If a Notion tutorial spends more time on emojis than on databases and views, close the tab. You now know the part that matters, and you can skip the 8 hours of decorating that made everybody else quit. That's the honest version. One table, a few views, a template you built yourself, and the discipline to ignore the shiny stuff. Do that. And Notion stops being an overwhelming app you feel guilty about and starts being the one place your business actually lives. If this made the app finally make sense, subscribe, because I break down AI and productivity tools in plain English for people who are too busy to watch a 2-hour setup video. And tell me in the comments which tool you want me to strip down to the part that actually matters next. And a real thank you to MBC Canada Inc. for backing this one. If you run a trades or construction business and you're tired of being blind on your own numbers, grab their free bookkeeping scorecard at the link below and see exactly how much money you're leaving on the table. I'll see you in the next one.